Today I'm going to show you guys how to change the automatic locking hub that comes on a 95 Ranger to the manual locking hub, which I've already done over here. You get all your parts from Warren. It's super easy, super straightforward, something you can do yourself. The only thing you will need is the spindle nut socket, spindle nut socket, which you can probably rent from a parts store. I own one. Used to do a lot of repair work back in the day. Now I get to do the fun stuff. But yeah, that's the only tool you'll need. Let's get into it. First things first, if you look right here, we got a little C-clip. We're gonna pop that off, and then there's two washers that I'm spinning with my finger right here. You're gonna slide those off. Once when we get that, it's gonna be pulling the outer hub, a keyway, and then the inner hub. I'll show you guys kind of step by step, but that's gonna be basically the process. All right, pulled that C-clip off in the first washer. This is gonna be your last washer. Bring you over here to my fancy dancy toolbox with the workbench. So from left to right, that's where you're gonna be removing your C-clip or retaining clip, whatever you wanna call it. The kind of splined washer, if you can see. So you'll have to line that up, and then your other washer. Next thing we're gonna do is come over here and give this a pull, and that's the outer portion of your auto locking hub. So set that aside. Up in here is a little tiny keyway or retaining clip or whatever you want to call this thing, and you can take your magnet very carefully and pull that little tiny piece out. What that allows you to do is to spin this nut free by hand. Once you get this nut taken off, you'll want to repack the bearing. I'll show you how to do that. Super simple, very messy process, but it's easy enough. Here's everything from left to right in the order I took it off. So your retaining clip, spline washer, that regular washer, I guess it's two of them on this one. You got your outer kind of auto locking hub, the keyway or a little retaining piece, and then your inner hub nut. Once you get all those off, you have access to your bearing. We're going to pull this out, take a look at it, repack it if it needs to be, put new ones in if needed. When you're packing bearings, you basically put a chunk of grease in your hand and you just slap the open portion right here of the bearing onto your hand, and you'll see the grease come up through. Once when it comes up through, you just work your way around the bearing. It's that simple to pack it. Once when I'm done with that, I will show you guys how to put the manual locking hub back together. From left to right, what we're going to be putting on is the spindle nut with the little doohickey right there, the retaining pin, then your retaining washer, and your outer hub nut. Inner hub nut goes on the spindle. You put that on. I'm going to use my fancy dancy Milwaukee on this because it has a setting that only does 35 foot-pounds and then it'll stop. So what we're going to do is run this down. It'll stop. That's how I know I'm good. And then we're going to seat the bearing. What I mean by this is all this is going to do is remove any of that extra grease that I've packed in there from when I was packing. We're going to do this a couple of times. I'm going to hit it again with the impact. Make sure it's tightened down. Run it a few more times. Then I am going to take my socket, put it onto a ratchet, and we're going to back this off. So take it and we're going to back it off 90 degrees and leave it. Next up is the washer. We're going to find the little stud which is right here. And then we're gonna line this washer up as best that we can with that. You may need to make a slight adjustment to get it to work. Once you do, the little stud is in there. Outer nut. If it wants to, will go on. So once that outer nut's on, we're gonna take our little socket. We're gonna put it on our torque wrench, which I already have torqued to 105. This outer nut torque is going to be 85 to like 115. So I always do somewhere in the middle. Once you do that, you gotta line these teeth up. It's kind of a pain in the butt, one-handed. We'll get it one day. There we go. And then you'll hear click. One more check. Literally, that is it. Now, one thing I did do on this is, you see a little hole right here? I marked that on the rotor with a paint pen. You can see the grease, but that's how you know how this hub slides on. And it's literally that easy. Now you went from a automatic locking hub to a manual hub. Guys, less than an hour to do this. Definitely something you could do yourself. If you want to see more stuff like this, or how to pack a bearing, make sure you shoot it down in the comments and I'll be sure to hit that up. Thank you for watching.